Alright, guys. So this isn't my style at all. I don't sit in front of a mic and just talk. We're going to unpack this though. So, as everyone else, I just watched what was a a weird Indy race. Like, this isn't normal. And as you see, Jeff Gluck, Bob Pockrass, I mean, it's weird. We're not. After Kyle Larson comes in after his kind of sad IndyCar race, which I was at, and I thought his performance was great, other than, of course, his untimely pit road speeding penalty. And now here he is at the Brickyard 400 and wins it, but in probably the most disappointing way possible. This whole race was so weird, but we'll start at the beginning. So, of course, you have the 45 car leading us to green, and he did really good staying out front. The first two stages were really uneventful. Nothing really happened. You didn't see any type of real contenders than who was already up front at that time. But as we kept going in the third stage, incidents just kept on coming. I think we ended this race with 11 cautions, which not bad for a 400-mile race, but still interesting. Now, the real problem, and the whole reason I'm even making this, is the finish. So, if we scroll down here, alright, and of course you're seeing winner, winner. You see posts like this about Ryan Blaney being mad. Now, why in the world would Ryan Blaney be mad? Well, if we go right here to the Nascar page, we see this restart. This one right here. Now, before it continues, the rule is in NASCAR that if the front row driver, the one who's supposed to, the control car as they call it, if the control car cannot start or pulls off into pit road like he did, the control car is the second place car. In this case, it would be Ryan Blaney. Number one, they are less than 200 yards from this restart zone. 200. That is not any type of time for you to be mentally prepared for this. You're not expecting to be thrown into a restart position. You're just not. But that's okay. He is a world-class athlete. He should be okay with that. Now, what we have problem with is in the restart zone, it looks like the 5 car jumps the start. The 5 car isn't in charge of going. That is on the 12. And it really looks like, because if you see here, the 38 is still behind the 45. The 2 is definitely behind the 20. That whole outside lane still hasn't even caught back up to what happened with. I mean, they still haven't processed they need to move up a position on that row. Like, they haven't had that time. This is literal 30 seconds. Not even. From Keselowski pulling off to the restart zone start is 4 seconds, it looks like. 6 seconds. These cars are not ready to go. And as you see, Larson's car clearly goes before the 12 car. Like, it's not even close. Now, what do you think happened here? Do you think that maybe NASCAR did the right thing and assessed this and gave a penalty. No, they didn't. And as we see, Larson would get the lead, and then a huge pileup at the end, which results in another overtime restart. Also, I really like just the 42 sitting back here, just turning around with its back wheels. That is kind of funny to me. But, I mean, this isn't really a good look for NASCAR. This shouldn't be how this race ended. In a race full of controversial calls, this shouldn't have been one of them. They should have either, one, thrown the caution, or two, just done the restart over. I mean, the 5 car should not have been in the position to restart this race, and he definitely shouldn't have jumped the restart. Now, what's even worse is that Larson's starter was not fully working. So when it came past the red flag, Larson needed push to be restart. Now, I get it's not Larson's fault that his car had to be shut off. It was a red flag. It's you have to do that. That is the rules. Now, with that being said, it's also not NASCAR's fault that his starter was not working to begin with. This was an issue that should have never happened in the first place. But the fact that Larson, one, got to keep his spot after jumping a restart, and then two, had a bad starter. I mean, these aren't things that should have led to the 5's win. Now, the 5 was bad fast. There is a good chance Larson passes both Keselowski and the 12 car if this stays green. However, because this did not stay green, and this was a fresh start, the 5 car shouldn't have been allowed in that position. And definitely shouldn't have jumped the restart. I mean, that's clearly... I mean, look at this. He is right beside him. He is behind him. He is still behind him. Boom. In front of him. Now, the 38 does get into him a little, I will say. However, the 12 car doesn't restart until late in the zone. Like, the 5 car shouldn't have gone. He just shouldn't have. And I could tell you Blaney is not happy with how this ended. And right now he's talking in their interview. So I'm trying to just get a little listen on what he's going to say here. All right, let's hear. Man, I mean, just rewatching this, it doesn't make sense on why this was still going. And now, not any of this, not past Larson winning, any of it. I think you have to look at the other parts of this race, though. This race started on USA when it was supposed to be a race that was on NBC all day. Well, some world events happened, that changed, and they moved it over to USA to start the race, but then they ended it on USA after being on NBC for so long. And it just, it's not a good look. I mean, the ratings are going to show that. The ratings are going to be down for this race. The attendance actually looked pretty good. The crowds looked at least a kind of full for a NASCAR race at Indianapolis. But this isn't how it should have gone. This race was... I want to say the race itself was good, because I liked the race. I'm not one of those fans that hates on strategy races. I actually like it. I think it's cool to let the minds of the sport go to work. However, I don't think this is how it should have gone. And I don't think I'm the only fan that thinks that. One person I do want to talk about, very good, Jimmy Johnson, made his way from 33rd to 11th. That was a really, really good run by Johnson. And I hate that he got taken out. And then, of course, he got taken out with my favorite driver as well. It was really just unfortunate. This whole race was unfortunate. It should have never ended like this. It should have never came to this. But here we are. Now, I don't think there's much else to talk about on this live. I'll probably make an actual video about this later on today. Just initial reaction, it doesn't look good. The ratings are probably going to be really low from having to switch. And not talking about the random blackout that happened on NBC. Like, for a period of time, there was just no racing, and it was during the last 10 laps of the race. So it was really like, whoa, what's going on here? Where are my racers? And then there was just nothing. I thought my TV was lagging, but more people saw it. But overall, not a good showing. I'm hoping next week's a bit better, but until that happens, maybe this 2-week break is going to be good for the sport, because it could be something they need. And if we refresh, yeah, they pinned the crown jewel and the smoke show. I will say, I really like the papaya. This car looks really good. Hey Theos, how's it going? Talking about some sports right now, because the ending of this race was really, really bad. I will say it is good to see Larson in victory lane of Indianapolis. I just don't think this is how it should have happened. And it's not how it should have happened. So I think that's my initial reactions. Probably a longer video coming out later. I'm just really disappointed. I liked the race up until that last maybe 5 laps. They handled it kind of bad. Also, shout out to Brad K for actually fuel conserving for that long. My favorite line of the broadcast today was, I don't have any predictions that the 6 is still out there, right before everything went to crap. Well, this has been my quick 13 to 15 minute rant on how this race was. Again, full form coming later. Dear goodness, this was not good. It wasn't horrible, but it was not good. Hopefully y'all have a great rest of your day. Theos, thank you for coming out. I am downloading it though. I will get to you. I promise you I'm going to download that. It's free on Game Pass, so definitely just going to get Trackmania. But it's been kind of busy. I've worked over hours these past week and a half. Theos, I will see you soon. I'll have another live stream this week for sure. Probably tomorrow, actually. I don't work late. So, once I get home, I'll definitely be streaming. Maybe Trapmania. Maybe iRacing. Heck, maybe NCAA. That game has been fun. Really fun, but that's a lot to digest for the end of the day. That's a lot to digest. Well, that's going to be it for you. I'll see y'all later. Thank you. Theos, thank you. I will be live again this week. It's always good to see you in the chat. And, well,